Welcome to Virtuoso, your story in sound Shangri-La. Entertaining stories that enhance your worldliness and well-being. Please welcome your host, Trevor Joran.
Aloha. Welcome, my name is Trevor Joran, and in this special first episode, I have actually recruited a voiceover artist to interview me. I'll talk about what the show is about, who it's made for, what you can expect, and all of the behind-the-scenes things that I find interesting regarding the creation of the very first season. So without further ado, here we go.
What is your show about?
Virtuoso is a show that is filled with entertaining stories that enhance your worldliness and well-being. I created this show so that I could study the virtuosos which have shaped the cultures of our world and create a story and sound Shangri-La for you. It is my hope that our experience together will lend to your development, making you a more knowledgeable, sophisticated, healthier, and overall happier person.
Why are you making the show?
So that I can grow, and so that my friends and family can have a way to stay connected with me. I'm making this show so that my audience can become more cultured and worldly, and so that I can build credibility and a platform. And really, when I think about it, it's because my friends and family have said that my strengths lie in storytelling, working with words, and curiosity. My father always told me that I was an inquisitive person and that I should pursue the creative writing and storytelling. And this message is echoed by my friends who say that my ability to encourage others can and should be highlighted. So it's really an opportunity to bring together delightful conversations and pursue curiosity. Also, because I'm excited about the skills that I will learn as a result of doing this. I think this is an opportunity to develop as a storyteller. And I'm aware that everything worthwhile is excruciatingly hard. But all progress begins with a brave decision. And starting small and sucky sure beats staying sucky. So it's about progress, not perfection. And this show is allowing me to tap into that gift that I might be able to give to the world. The question that I consider is, would I regret not doing this? And every time I muse over that, I think the answer is yes. And so that is the heart of why I am pursuing this podcast. It's because I feel like it is a wise investment for my development as a storyteller, and that my short time on this earth would be not lived to the fullest if I didn't give it a try.
What can people expect from your show?
Well, my show is comprised of various segments and topics that are all about storytelling in one way or another. In the beginning of each show, I take a mindful moment. So my intention behind the mindful moment is at the beginning of each show, I want to create a space for a deeper resonance with the connection and conversation between us. It's a moment to experience mindfulness and the power of our breath. I'll talk about a theme of our lives such as appreciation, creativity, finding focus, letting go of stress, coping with cravings, productivity, relationships, or even taking a break. I'll also have a global segment where I will spin the globe and close my eyes, land in a small segment of the beautiful planet we live on, and then do some research about that area and convey what I find to be the most interesting or pertinent information about this far-flung land. And then I'll have a short form, interesting interview with some thought leaders from a variety of areas. And I'll be asking them questions that come from my lucid note. The heart of the show is really about insights from the stories and sounds that have shaped our culture. And so I'll be doing a variety of deep dives into classic and contemporary artists and talk about the meaningful message that their career or work has left on humanity, and maybe their clever concepts and their enlightened excerpts from their work. And let's not forget the brilliant blemishes or fabulous flaws that we all have. And then I have a small segment of the show which is about investment, and I call this Pennies and Pounds, where I'll spend about 30 seconds on health and wellness and about 30 seconds on investment philosophy.
Who is your ideal listener?
Well, I've been told to do some customer avatar exercises to help me get into the psychology of who my true listener is. And I have named her Katana. But really, it's anyone who is interested in living a life well and enjoys discovery and learning. If they're interested in the topic of story or sound, artistry, I think they'll get some pleasure and education from spending time with me. And I think the people who want to stay in touch with culture and would be interested in learning more about the talented artists of the present and the past would benefit from Virtuoso.
What do you hope listeners will get from your show?
Well, I hope that the listeners have somewhat of a renaissance. I think that spending time with me will hopefully engage them, entertain them, and enhance their lives in some way. I hope that they'll come away learning more about the stories and sounds that have shaped the cultures of the world. And as a result, they'll be more sophisticated and worldly.
How often will your show come out?
So every episode is going to come out just over a month from the one before it. I'm shooting for ballpark 39 days. And the reason is twofold. A, because 39 is my favorite number. And B, so that this project is sustainable. So numerology is a big thing for me, and I looked into the calendar, and I looked 39 days from September 9th, when the first episode is coming out. And then within a few days from there, I picked the best date to launch the next episode. So for example, the second episode is coming out on Sunday, the 18th of October. The third episode is coming out on the 1st of December. And the fourth episode is coming out on the 1st of the new year, 2021. So you can see it's roughly a month, and I'm shooting for the dates that have the most meaning to me. In between those long stretches of time, I'm going to be publishing bonus episodes, which are excerpts. For example, the story and sound segment of the Virtuoso podcast will have their own episodes for people who would rather just get the condensed version of what the meaningful message is or the clever concept behind that month's publication rather than having to listen to the full episode. And those come out roughly every 9 days.
What do you have lined up in the first season?
Well, the first season is full of interesting topics. For example, I have the play Hamilton. I'm also talking about the story of Titanic and Miss Saigon, the fabulous play. Talking about the book The Silk Roads and the film The Second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Critique of Pure Reason by Immanuel Kant and The Origin of Species by Darwin. As far as sound goes, I'm looking into the career of Frank Sinatra, and I'm looking into the classics of Barbra Streisand and how she made some fabulous show tunes throughout the year. I'm looking into the sound of the rock band Chicago and the country band Zac Brown, particularly their album Jekyll and Hyde. I'm looking into the jazz fusion artist Dave Koz and his album Getaway, and the hip-hop artist Beyonce, and particularly what she did with the show Lion King. I'm looking at the song A Whole New World, and also the sound from the orchestral masterpiece of Fantasia. Also, for the first season, I have interviewed my partner, Roberta, and we talk about travel, real estate, and writing, and the benefits from stepping outside the box. I've also interviewed her daughter, Courtney, from Rock Your Radiance, and we talk about what it's like to start a clothing line and to work with sharing the power of positivity through fashion. I have interviewed my good friend Dylan, and we talk about our experiences together in Los Angeles at youth leadership camps and what it's like to rebuild yourself out of $50,000 in debt. I've interviewed my cousin Donovan on the process of creating music for this podcast and his musical journey since he was the age of 4, taking him through the process of creating over 14 albums. I have also interviewed my friend Ryan from Living Room Dance Floor, a radio show that has been running for over 4 years now, and I talked to him about what it's like to blend music across different genres. I have interviewed my longtime friend Shibble, and we discuss the importance of science, finding beauty in everyday tasks, and the art of communicating well. And I have interviewed my friend Kason Sean, a lyrical genius, and we talk about the process of creation, about staying healthy at home, and about transitioning from business studies to passion. And I interview my parents, where we have a fantastic conversation about how they influenced who I became, and we reminisce on some of our most treasured memories from growing up.
How did you come up with the music in your show?
Well, I wanted to showcase the world. I shared a few samples with my cousin, various pieces of music from Africa, Arabia, and Asia, and the likes. And we created music based heavily upon the piano, the sax, and the strings. The theme that we came up with is heavily based around a 4-note figure, inspired by the name Virtuoso, simply for having 4 syllables. Theme is super malleable in different contexts. For example, we have choir, saxophone, and other woodwind instruments in the intro that create a compelling texture. And we move into an inspiring and uplifting melody utilizing the orchestra, the piano, and African percussion, as well as various instruments throughout Europe, Middle East, and Asia. But throughout the show, we have jazzy bumpers with European-inspired chord progressions, hip-hop style beats, we have European guitars, we have Arabian and Indian instruments, and for the outro, we decided to just have a piano playing the theme. The image in my cousin's head when he was creating was just a piano in an empty auditorium, after a show where everybody has already went home and the theater was about to close up. We both thought that this was a really beautiful image to write to. And lastly, underneath all the audio and the vocals in the show, there's a background loop, which interestingly has 9 submixes, and the song's tempo was set to 109 beats per minute. The file was just about 900 megabytes too. I mean, the number 9 throughout all the music is very incredible. Aside from having the very difficult task of creating immense amount of context and content into such a small amount of music, it was a very fun time creating all these soundscapes.
What have been the greatest challenges in getting a show together?
The greatest challenges in getting the show together have been the organization and the research, with so many facets of the show taking a lot of time to construct, especially when I'm doing the fact-finding portion behind the stories of sound. This is the greatest challenge because it takes a lot of energy and attention to condense these ideas. It takes roughly an hour to 2 per 5 minutes of the show. That being said, the most fun portion of the show and the easiest portion of the show by far is the interview. Now, looking back on things, if any part of the show is unsustainable, it would probably lie in the region of the amount of time necessary to construct such small segments. Editing too. I mean, the amount of files that go into each episode, I look I look at my, digital audio workspace, and there are, 40 moving pieces to each episode. And meshing all this together and working it out, if possible, I would definitely like to hire this out for the upcoming seasons.
Anything else?
Well, yeah, I think that this journey is going to be interesting. I look forward to how the first season pans out. I'm most excited because I'm finally launching. I was considering doing this quite some time ago. Actually, back during my final years of university, I wanted to put together a show where I asked people questions in the book, and I'm finally getting to it. So I think that this is helping me to venture outside of my comfort zone and helping me to learn some new perspectives. It's a positive challenge for me. Well, in conclusion, to my listeners, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. It's hard work putting these shows together, but knowing that you are out there being engaged, entertained, and enhanced by the Virtuoso show makes it all worth it to me. I'm glad that we are able to spend time together every few weeks. If you love what I'm doing and you want to support me, please go to trevorsthoughts.com and sign up for my email. Alternatively, you can shoot me a quick message at muse@trevorsthoughts.com. That's MUSE, like the Greek muses. I'll send you an email back and we can begin our relationship from there. Thanks again, and I look forward to our next show together.